Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Monthly Measures here on Great Measures. My name is Richard. I'm going to be featuring 8 releases from the month of July 2025. These are 8 releases that I think you need to go check out right now if you haven't heard them already. These were my favorites of the month. I'll just get right into it. So the first one is a band called Wield and Wo, with an album called Far From the Light of Heaven. This is black metal / castle metal from the United States. This one was released on July the 4th via FIA Productions. I apologize. This release kind of refines the band's approach to castle metal. It blends some soaring leads with sharpened black and traditional metal elements. This one differs from their previous releases because it asserts a little more distinct and balanced identity. The tracks range from triumphant heavy metal anthems to fierce blackened assaults, even experimenting with some breakdowns, which was pretty cool in my opinion. The production stays raw but relatively clear, with some melodic bass lines, tight percussion, and piercing vocals anchoring the atmospheric instrumentation. Ultimately, the band offers a sound that feels both triumphant and introspective, proving castle metal's potential to be both fierce and radiant. That is Far From the Light of Heaven by Wield and Wo. Up next is an EP called Wall of Denials by a band called Highway Sniper. This is, I'm going to call it crusty hardcore from the United States. This one was released independently on July the 4th. Look, I love everything about this one musically, but I really want to focus on the cause behind it. All of the proceeds of this release are going to the Hamdauna family. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. There's a quote on the band's Instagram post about this specific release that says, quote, "We believe that mutual aid is the best way to help the people of Gaza." You know, I can certainly get behind that, and I'll definitely be supporting this release. I'll also provide a link to Highway Sniper's Bandcamp in the description of this video, so you can go click on that link. You can buy, I think they have a t-shirt for this release, and you can buy the EP itself. And from what I understand, all of the proceeds go towards that family and helping the people of Gaza. That is an EP called Wall of Denials by Highway Sniper. Up next, we've got an album called Ate's Alchemist, or Ate's Alchemist. I'm not sure. It's ATE''S. It's a German band called Sheave, and this is progressive stoner rock / metal. Oh, sweet fire! This one was released on July the 11th via Ripple Music. This album is pretty much 50 minutes of progressive metal that showcases the band's unique blend of grunge and stoner metal influences. They merge familiar elements in unexpected ways. They create a pretty rich mix of jagged edges and softer tones. The tracks incorporate stoner-inflected grooves and captivating melodies alongside sharp technical aspects. The band's songwriting balances traditional structures with innovative exploration while revitalizing classic styles. Ultimately, this album offers complex soundscapes that are really rewarding to dig into and discover. That is Ate's Alchemist by Sheave. That's just how I'm going to pronounce it, and they can correct me if I am wrong. All right, next we've got an album called I Will Not Be Found Hereafter by a band called Cell. This is deathcore from the US. This one was released July the 18th through Unbeaten Records. This is the band's debut album, brutal and uncompromising with relentless intensity. The album blends elements of metalcore, deathcore, and hardcore into a really unique sound. It's got some ear-catching riffs and really solid breakdowns. Vocal dynamics that range from guttural bellows to haunting melodies. Tracks like Lie Alone for the Spirits to Mold offer a brief recess with eerie, melancholic undertones, beautifully contrasting the overall ferocity of the album. It's powerful and aggressive, but it also demonstrates the band's ability to put together moments of surprising delicacy. Overall, the album is a standout debut that promises to resonate with both seasoned heavy music fans and newcomers to the genre. And now my dogs hear me talking and they are upset that I'm not in the room with them. I apologize for that. Up next is an EP called Cursive by a band called Emberth Throne. This is deathcore from the US.
I never needed to be saved.
Released July the 4th. I think it's through Seek and Strike. I could be wrong, but I think that's their label. I've been following this band for some time. Their latest release, this one really caught my attention. It showcases a pretty matured sound and a stronger vision, building on the foundation that they laid with their debut called Godless Wonder. It's only a 4-song EP, but it maintains their signature heavy deathcore style. It also introduces some surprising shifts into more brutal territory, which I really liked. The title track opens the EP with some intricate rhythms and tortured sounding guitar melodies before pounding you over the head the rest of the way. The song called Dulling the Blade offers relentless chugging, while the song called Failed Suicide Pact takes a heavier turn that showcases their artistic growth. Overall, the EP is a small sample size that highlights the band's evolution, positioning them as a band that I think is ready to carve out their own little place in the already crowded metal scene. That is Cursive by Emberth Throne. Up next, we got an album called Alcázares by Imperza. I don't know. This is flamenco death metal from France. Released July the 11th via Season of Mist. It's a French band that deeply embodies Spanish cultural elements in its music, merging brutal death metal with flamenco influences. Really cool stuff. The album marks a significant addition to their discography following 2 previous concept albums that explored themes of Inquisition and Aztec conquest. This album, this one specifically centers on the Reconquista, reflecting the historical tensions between Christian and Muslim forces in medieval Spain. Musically, it showcases a unified sound incorporating dynamics such as clean vocals and acoustic elements alongside their characteristic brutality. The production quality has improved so much from their previous releases. It allows various musical elements to coexist without overpowering each other, which I really appreciated about this. In my opinion, this is their most ambitious work, and it's blending a combination of historical narratives with really intricate compositions and innovative musical techniques. Really cool album. That is Alcázares by Imperza. Up next, we've got Grizzly by Slaughter to Prevail. This is Russian deathcore. This was released by Sumerian Records on July the 18th. Look, these guys consistently deliver. They've shown really significant growth in songwriting and technical skills since their first release, largely thanks to the power of the vocalist Alex Terrible. This album embraces the intensity and ferocity associated with their sound, with a blend of catchy riffs and heavy rhythms that set them apart from typical deathcore bands. Unlike a lot of other bands in the genre, they avoid relying solely on rapid tempos and breakdowns, and they do a really good job of incorporating melodic elements and varied rhythms to keep the music engaging. There are some moments that feel overly aggressive and forced on this album, but those instances are really minimal and don't really detract from the overall experience. This release showcases Strong musicianship with explosive guitar work and aggressive drumming that complement Alex's diverse vocal style. Overall, Grizzly stands out as their best work yet, marking a continued evolution in their music while maintaining their deathcore roots. And last but not least, we've got A Void Within Existence, which is an album by Abigail Williams. This is black metal from the US. This one was released on July the 18th via Agonia Records. After a long wait and some lineup shifts, Abigail Williams is finally back with a powerful follow-up to their 2019 release, Walk Beyond the Dark. The album features a standout ensemble including drummer Mike Heller and guitarist Vance Valenzuela, who inject technicality and energy into the sound. Songs like Void Within and Talk to Your Sleep showcase a darker, heavier, and more experimental direction marked by aggressive riffs and dynamic vocals. The record also leans into atmospheric territory, which I can really appreciate, especially on the song No Less Than Death, where the vocalist blends and clean and harsh vocals to a really emotional effect. There's a little bit of compression in the production, but the mix gives each instrument plenty of space, and it highlights the band's evolved songwriting. Ultimately, this release is probably the band's most ambitious, in my opinion, and probably their most refined as well. And I can definitely appreciate that. I'm a big fan of that release. So anyways, that is A Void Within Existence by Abigail Williams. Those are your 8 releases from July of 2025. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this can shed some light on some bands and some albums and some EPs that you haven't heard, and can bring them to your attention, and hopefully we can promote these bands that I like to see promoted. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day.